Own your next move. Bold moves in business and life. Every successful story begins with a bold decision. Join me, Jennifer McPherson, as I uncover conversations with entrepreneurs, leaders, and innovators about pivotal moments that shape their journey. Authentic insights, inspiring lessons, and practical wisdom to help you own your own next. Welcome to Own Your Next. I'm Jennifer McPherson. I didn't start my first business until I was 48. I spent decades behind the scenes and decided to give it a go at owning my own next move. Since then, I've built companies, navigated real setbacks, and learned firsthand that success is far more about mindset rather than timing, talent, or even luck. Today, I'm joined by Megan Franklin, majority owner and lead civil engineer at SCE Engineering. Megan leads civil engineering work across transportation, roadway, drainage, and infrastructure projects. Her role blends technical expertise with firm leadership, helping shape projects that support communities. I'm excited to have her here and dig into her journey, her leadership perspective, and the work she is passionate about. But before we get started, Megan, tell me a little bit about yourself and your company.
All right. Well, I'll start with myself. As you said, I'm Megan Franklin and one of the 3 owners of SCE Engineering. Some background about me is that I am a Colorado native. I was born and raised in Aurora, Colorado, and graduated from CSU, Colorado State University, up in Fort Collins. Currently live in Parker, Colorado with my husband and 2 little boys and 2 golden doodles.
Oh,
Yeah, they're all adorable. And a little bit about SCE. So SCE is a professional full-service design consulting firm. We specialize in geotech, roadway, civil, and structural engineering. We are a small firm of 8 employees, and we have offices in Tucson, Arizona, Blanding, Utah, and Parker, Colorado.
awesome. That's great. You know, when you were talking about your family, a mom of 2 little boys, I know we're friends and sometimes you send me pictures and I was like, brings back the days of when my kids were little and I just love it so much.
Yeah,
So
it's a good busy
tell me-
stage.
yeah, oh, it's so fun. I mean, it's just, they're only little for so long and they grow so fast. And then you think back and you're like, remember the cute little cheeks I used to pinch and, all the things. So you recently stepped into ownership of an existing firm. What went into the decision to purchase a firm and what did that moment represent for you as a leader and as honestly as a woman in engineering, which is predominantly male market?
Yeah, so myself, Rick, and JB purchased SCE in July of 2024. And kind of my history with that is, I've always wanted to go into ownership, wanted to own my own firm, but timing's never perfect. It's never right. So that, there's that situation. And, you're younger in your career. I thought about it a lot right when I got my PE and I decided to wait. Obviously, I was also recently married and, kids were in the future. And I also wanted to establish myself more within industry, understand industry more. And I had something, I lost my train of thought, understand industry. And I wanted to be able to build my technical skills more, right? And then, just the general experience of the entire progression of a career, right? So going from like an EIT to a PE to be a project engineer, project manager, and then, group leads and regional leader and that. And I ended up progressing to all of that, which helped confirm my confidence in being a leader and an owner within the industry. So that all that helped gaining all that experience through the years. And as far as the decision to purchase SCE, a little bit history there was at a previous firm, myself and Rick participated in the CDOT Mentor Protege Program back in 2020. And while we were at that firm, SCE was our protege.
Oh.
And so I got to know the 2 previous owners, Bill and Edie, and all of the SCE staff. And, the good thing about SCE, which is, an awesome thing, is that all of the employees have been the same employees. Like there's no firing of employees. Like it's been the same crew since it was established between the 2012 and 2015. It's been all the same employees. the only new employees lately have been myself and Rick as owners.
That's great.
Yeah, and I enjoy. I've worked for the big firms. I've worked for the smaller firms. Each have their pros and cons. But the biggest thing that I have learned and the biggest takeaway of that is your team and the company culture. So it doesn't really matter as much of like what logo it is on the firm that you're working for. It's your team, it's your manager, it's everything like that. And those relationships are very important because you end up spending, more hours of the day with your coworkers than your family sometimes. Well, Monday through Friday for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And so you spend, more than half your life with your coworkers. So you definitely want to enjoy them. And then the same with the culture, right? And being able to have hard conversations, but everyone understands it, then being able to joke around and be fun and be silly and, get to know also, with the smaller firm, it's nice because I get to know all my coworkers and their families, right? So I know their kids, their spouses, you get to know that. And, we're small enough where, we'll have team dinners at, each other's houses. And that's great, right? To have them at your house and hang out and, just relax and those type of things too. And it's also small enough where we can go and go to like a U of A football game as a
Oh,
team and,
fun.
support, the local areas and do fun events like that and company picnics and all of that stuff. It's really nice to have that. And overall too, I mean, when it comes to company culture, it's really important to have those that have the same ethics and the same goals, right? So it is a team effort to be successful. And you have to have that trust. And that is, a big part of the culture is having that trust and being aligned in ethics and wanting to succeed together.
For sure. I mean, you got to have that alignment. Your stamp is on the line sometimes if you're not being ethical. And in this industry in general, it's like, there's a lot of responsibility on your shoulders as not only as the owner, but as the person that stamps these drawings. So yeah, I get that. So next question, let's talk about civil engineers and the role that you actually play in shaping communities and public life. What is something that people often misunderstand about civil engineering?
I think that they misunderstand structure in general, right? So how much of everyday life is part of civil engineering, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it can go anywhere from, obviously, it's, that for me, in my industry, it's the transportation, right? So everyone thinks like roadway and bridges, right? That's something, but I mean, you go from like the traffic signals to sidewalks to parking lots to, your shopping centers, and it's everywhere. I mean, your storm sewer, your sanitary sewer, the stuff that, you can't even see, the pipelines, all of that is stuff that people take for granted, I think. And they don't realize how involved it is and how much and how critical it is to everyday life.
Yeah, I totally agree. Coming in from the public involvement side, which is obviously part of what we do, working with firms like you who are doing the designs of these things, we get comments all the time from the public like, why can't you just it's not hard, just, throw some pavement on it. It's like, well,
yeah.
There's a lot more that goes into it than that.
Oh, yeah, there is. And I mean, then, I don't know, at SCE, we don't do any of the construction, but I have, I've worked for construction companies and it's the same thing of like everybody hates when there's a detour or any of that construction. But then when it's done, there's no like praise. It's like, so it's done. Let's, and they enjoy it, but they don't like the steps leading up to it. But
no, they don't.
it's definitely, has to get built.
Yeah. Yeah. A little bit of pain provides a lot more comfort. And I think people forget that during the pain of construction and roadway construction that, just be patient. It will not last forever. And when it's done, your life will be much easier. You can travel quicker, safer, all of the things. So that's funny. So engineering in general and the world that we live in right now in general is evolving very quickly with current technologies. How is SCE thinking about advanced technologies, including AI, automations, drones, or other tools, And how would you see those tools changing how engineering firms operate and deliver projects?
Well, I mean, the AI world is, it's here, right? So we just need to embrace it and we need to learn it and we need to understand it and move forward with it, right? So it's not going anywhere. If anything, it's a big part of our lives more than we know and then more than we will ever know at the same time. So
Mhm.
in terms of how, I see, like specifically, you mentioned, drones. I am a drone certified pilot, and so is Rick. And we have a couple of drones with the company, and we have been using those to, some clients like it, some clients don't. But for the clients that are willing to embrace that technology, I mean, just a elevator speech of the drone, but we'll obviously fly that drone, do the photogrammetry, and we use that for all sorts of things, pre-construction, site conditions, pre-design, proposals, and then obviously for full design, we can use it too. And so we'll fly the drone and we'll get a bunch of the data and anything from, just the photos or, a full 3D rendering of the corridor, the downtown area, whatever the client wants, the construction site, whatever it is. And then from there, we use a program that's AI. It's an AI program, and that program is the one that goes through and generates the final product for whatever that is, of the things I previously mentioned. That is huge. It takes some time to build those models, obviously, but at the same time, it helps progress projects faster. If we're putting, we'll start, the start to finish relationship with it is we'll go fly the drone for proposal and we'll be able to have that information and then we can put together, a quick design enough, to explain to the client that we know what we're doing with a solution. And then if that ends up going, full design, then obviously we have that and we have information from the surveyors and all the other disciplines that are associated with the project. But then at the same time, we use it as a safety thing that not everyone, just say it's a CDOT project, for example, not everyone from every discipline has to go out on site, especially if it's like a highway or roadway. So it's when we have a full 3D rendering of a site, like quantities and stuff like that is very accurate. And then we have anyone who wants to see the project or the conditions or, whatever phase of construction, they can just open up the model. They don't have to go out to the field. They don't have to get traffic control, all those, all the safety things of it. It's right there. But anyways, so back to the AI side of it. Yeah. So we're using that technology on the design side a lot. So
that sounds really beneficial for the project, not only from the standpoint of saving cost. You don't have as many people that you have to, like you're talking about the traffic control. A lot of people don't understand that every time you go out onto the roadway, you can't just like walk out on the roadway with a vest. Like you've got to have all the safety measures in place, which is traffic control set up so that you are able to safely work in the roadway. But just the safety factor alone, just by not having people going out onto these roadways where there's live traffic, I mean, that's game changing in itself.
yeah. And then, I mean, obviously I was speaking on, the roadway civil side, which is, my area of expertise. I mean, we use it also on the geotech side for walls and slope stability, right? So it's not like you're going to go climb up and, you can see so much from the ground looking up or looking at a wall or walking along a wall, but then you can model this stuff too. And so that way, if it's a risky condition for the slope, if it's not stable, or if, a wall is in need for some rehab or whatever, we can scan it and do the analysis based on that too.
That's so cool. See, I mean, technology is pretty amazing.
It is when it works.
When it works, yes.
Yes.
You kind of alluded on this a little bit when you were talking about some clients do, some clients don't. But from your perspective, working with DOTs and local agencies, how do public sector clients feel about the use of AI and advanced technology? What excites them? And where are you still seeing kind of a hesitation or a caution?
I mean, with anything, the DOT kind of world is slow to adopt new technologies, right? There's a hesitation there. A lot of that is dependent on the leadership and their involvement with the technology. If they believe in it and they see it, or if they're just old school, that's how they are. They're old school and they don't want to embrace that. and that's fine. There'll always be those people for every little thing in life. I think it just depends on the client or the PM, and even those that are also curious on it, right? So we can meet with the client and do the whole presentation on these capabilities, and some of them are like, no, that's not going to work. We don't need that. We don't understand that. Blah blah blah, and just shut it down. And then there's those that are like very curious about these things and want to explore more, and they want to invest in it and try and figure out the full capability of this stuff. And, a lot of that stuff helps with, in terms of AI in general, that helps with schedule, right? Things go faster. So if that goes faster, then in theory, it's cheaper.
Yes.
And so then you can spend more money on different projects. And so, you're trying to find, like the cost benefit of these things, and maybe putting a little bit of money up front on, like a drone model, and then less on the back end, right? So
yeah,
you kind of got to, if the clients that understand that are the ones that want to move forward with it.
Yeah, well, that's cool. That is good. I mean, I know that over the last year or so, I've done a huge deep dive into AI, and, it, like you said, it's not going away. It is here, and it can be incredibly powerful. And I see a lot of really good use for it in the future for our industry and other industries. So that's really cool. Well, I have one more question. So this question, I am like a firm believer in mindset. And I think that mindset does a lot for how you handle life, how you handle problems at work, how you handle anything. So what mindset shifts have made the biggest difference in how you show up today in life? And what are old ways of thinking that you had to let go of to move forward?
All right. There's a lot there. So if I miss anything, you can repeat the question. So mindset in general, and I'm not sure if this is going to fully answer your question, but I think a lot of it also is related to personality, right? And your personality, I mean, personally for me, like I'm a go, work hard, play hard kind of person, as you can relate to.
Yeah.
All right. So a big mindset shift that I've had is, at least for work too, is understanding that no matter how much I want to plan my day, it's not going to go as planned. And as much as I have a to-do list to get stuff done, things will keep getting added to the bottom of that. And only a couple things per day is going to get crossed off that list. So, for me, it's understanding that, and obviously having to be dynamic with whatever comes up that day, that week, whatever project it is, or, if it's internal on the leadership side, or, if there's a networking thing, or, business lunch or whatever, then that comes up, then shift and work on that. But I think, for me too, as coming into ownership, and a big thing within industry and typical engineers is the risk, right? So a lot of engineers don't like to take risks, and obviously going into ownership is a big risk. And so I think mindset wise, I've never really been scared of a challenge, but I've always wanted challenge and believe that brings a lot of opportunities. But the mindset for that is, I think it's really big to understand, or really important to understand the big picture and where you want to go, and stay focused with that, and understand that, it's not going to go as planned. Right? You have to go with the flow. And I think that's, for me, being a very like structured person and routine person also, I have to just learn to go with the flow more, and figure it out minute by minute, day by day, which can be hard for me, but that is a big mindset. And another thing is, like, just don't be scared, and go into different challenges with an open mindset, and learn from it. Learn from everything and everyone. And
that's
and
huge.
Embrace it. Yeah.
Embracing challenges. Don't be afraid. Because, honestly, fear is what stops most people from stepping out on their own, from buying a company, from, doing a lot of things. If you can just bust through that fear, you can go, I think, pretty far in just about everything that you do, life in general, and business, and the whole 9 yards. So as we end, where can people find you? Where do you hang out? LinkedIn, probably.
Yeah, definitely. We have, LinkedIn site. It's SCE Engineering, you can search that. And then our website, it's really easy. It's SCE.engineering. So those are the two best.
That's a good domain.
It is. It's nice with the emails too. It's, SCE.engineering. So
yeah, that's perfect.
Easy.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for being on the podcast. I appreciate it. And I appreciate the insight into the world of civil engineering. It's a complex world that not a lot of people really fully understand. And I think it's very interesting. And it is to me, maybe because I've been in it for a long time, but I appreciate it. And you have a fabulous day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to Own Your Next. Subscribe and share with friends. And remember, success isn't behind you. It's boldly owning your next move.